Good morning, happy Sabbath. My name is Karen Brown, Health Ministries leader here at Bladensburg, Seventh-day Adventist Church in Bowie, Maryland. I want to welcome you to our presentation on matters of the heart. We are presenting a series on cardiovascular health. This is part 3. We are looking at peripheral artery disease this week, as we have covered coronary artery disease and other and congestive heart failure. So peripheral artery disease is a common condition where plaque has accumulated in the arterial walls of the vessels, specifically in the arms and legs. It's very, very common in the legs and not so common in the arms. What's actually happening is that there is a buildup of plaque. So with this narrowing of and hardening of the vessels, it puts you at risk of heart attack because of the plaque that is building up in the arterial walls. The prevalence of peripheral artery disease is approximately 8.5 million, but they actually estimate that it's an underestimation, more so as high as 19 to 20 million people affected by this disease. Some of the risk factors is age. The more you age, the more the risk factors increase. Race and ethnicity is another issue. African Americans are more so affected. And you can see that 1 in 3 African Americans compared to 1 in 5 are affected. And unfortunately, the disease is assessed in more advanced stages, leading to more likelihood of having amputations, lower rates of mobility after amputation because of not getting a prosthetic, and the rate of death after amputation is 45 to 60%. Very, very sad. So social determinants are also affecting this disease and the repair of the disease by chronic stress and systematic racism, lower health literacy, access to health care, lower income and education, and food insecurity. The third one that I'll mention, there are many others, is high blood sugar as a result of having diabetes. The risk of having vessels destroyed because of the elevated glucose and insulin resistance becomes a major factor in destruction of vessels. So what's going on? There is blocking of the blood flow going from the heart down to the legs and feet, and causing plaque buildup that develops. And there's a possibility that plaque can break off and a clot can form as a result, causing possible full obstruction of blood and oxygen to the lower extremities. So what does that really mean? It means that the likelihood of pain is very strong. There's insufficient blood and insufficient oxygen to the legs, not so much in the arms. It does happen in the arms, but it is most often found in the legs, and as a result, there is pain because of the narrowing of these arteries, lack of oxygen, and lack of blood supply. So there are usually 5 things that are associated with peripheral artery disease, and that's pain, cramping, aching, sharp pain, and it could be as high as the hips and going down to the feet. But it could also affect a person. The pain can also affect a person at night, specifically causing major pain to the legs, calf muscles, feet, and possibly even the hips. So there is loss of color and coolness to the skin, pulselessness, meaning no pulse felt in the legs and the feet, paralysis, loss of motor weakness, and or complete paralysis, and paresthesis, which is a tingling and numbness, almost like pins and needles sensation, and loss of feeling in those legs and feet. So one of the solutions that we came up with last week was to talk about Dr. Baxter's green smoothie recipe. Very powerful juice and fasting. So the recipe included a smoothie as well as raw vegetables for up to 30 days. So you can see the recipe here, and the use of raw fruits and vegetables during this time period as well. One thing that happens as a result of peripheral artery disease is people are afraid of pain. I will say, and I will implore you not to stop moving. Please do not stop moving. Moving is essential to your health, and without movement and staying still because you're afraid of the pain will actually cause the issue to become worse. So we're encouraging you to walk through the pain. Dr. Anita Dua from Massachusetts, University of Massachusetts, has encouraged through her research the use of walking. And in walking, there may be, because of the peripheral artery disease, some pain. But she is encouraging everyone to stop when the pain starts, stand still or sit down, and then when the pain stops, to actually continue walking for another 5 to 10 minutes. What does that do? It actually creates new blood vessels for blood flow, and which is very encouraging. And she's seen this through her research, and that new peripheral vessels can be created, and which is very encouraging for this particular condition. I will say that also lifestyle practices are also very important, like using food, using nutritious food, pure foods that are not processed, avoiding coffee and other caffeinated drinks, exercising as we talked about, exposing yourself to vitamin D, self-control, taking stock of your good and bad habits, use of good oxygen in among trees is also very important. Drinking water each and every day, but having just enough to not be dehydrated, to have sluggish blood, which would also create more of an issue, but to be sure to have adequate water by speaking to your doctor and finding out what that volume of water should and could be. Resting at night, starting about 9 o'clock p.m. For better repair of vessels and organs. Educating yourself about the condition and being aware of what your role is in your health. Trusting in God by trusting more and stressing less about your condition, increasing your prayer life, investing time in others by focusing on others rather than yourself, so that God can continue to bless as a result of you focusing and doing service to others. So there ends the presentation this week. I want to remind you that you can get fresh fruits and vegetables from the Wits at Wits Farm in Upper Marlborough, starting at 5 o'clock on Fridays and going through the weekend all day on Saturdays and Sundays. And I want to remind you of our prayer room that starts at 6 a.m. to 6:30 each and every day. We are reading the book Prayer, and we are on the Zoom link for the prayer line on the church website. You can call the number 301-715-8592 and log into the prayer line on Zoom, or use the link that is above to get in. We thank you for your time and we want to wish you all a happy Sabbath. Have a good week, everyone.